Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Jedi Knights Watch. My name is Rob.
And I'm Graham.
And today we are going to be having a discussion on hot toys for beginners, kind of. I am obviously the newbie when it comes to hot toys. And Graham is obviously the guy who's a little bit more of a veteran, knows a little bit more about the hot toys shenanigans, I guess, if you want to call it that, as you can see behind him. And I just have a few questions for him, as I'm sure a lot of people who are jumping into the hot toys, or before they jump in to collecting these 1/6 figures, are wanting to know.
You know, this is a big decision to get into. This is a big hobby to get into. And there's a lot of people that actually, I find out, join the Facebook group and don't even have any figures because they're just waiting, or they like it, but they haven't had the opportunity to get a figure yet. So we thought this would be a cool beginner's guide that maybe before you dabble in, that maybe you could watch this video and make your choice at that point.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of the Facebook groups, most of the posts I see are either orders, like, hey, my order's coming, or I order this, or it's, hey, got my first hot toy, check it out, and everyone's like, congratulations, welcome to the family. So yeah, a lot of new people like myself. So,
or it's, where is my order from Hot Toys?
Yeah, where is my order, Graham? We'll get into that toward the end of the video. Stick around.
All right. So I think the first question that we have to discuss, or the first topic that we have to discuss, is what are hot toys, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what if somebody doesn't even know what they are?
Right.
So it's a Hong Kong-based company that manufactures highly detailed 1/6 scale collectible figures, and it was established in 2000. And they make high-end 1/6 scale figures, really detailed. They articulate, so you can pose them in different ways. Their main brand is the Movie Masterpiece brand, which is MMS. So when you see, for example, Boba Fett MMS 463, he is the 463rd figure in the Movie Masterpiece series.
Okay, so for you people who I'm sure have collected Funko Pops, it's kind of the same kind of thing there going, where they have the numbers on the box for movies, TV, sports, whatever. So I'm sure a lot of people who are going into the 1/6 figures have a few Funko Pops or something similar to that.
But that's what hot toys are. They're these awesome collectibles right here, and they're quite addicting. So Rob doesn't even have one yet, and he's already pre-ordered, what, 3? He got the fever just by pre-ordering.
4. I guess I pre-ordered the Amazing Spider-Man, my goodness, not the black suit, it's the
upgraded suit.
The upgraded,
the one that's never gonna come.
The one that's never going to come. No, I really like the upgraded suit. Don't know why I forgot what it was called. I've been looking at it every day to see if it's coming.
It says March.
yeah. We'll get into that.
Right.
I also pre-ordered the Into the Spider-Verse Hot Toys, basically the set so far with Miles Morales, and I pre-ordered the Gwen Stacy, or Spider-Gwen, with the pig that comes with a little spider pig, or spider ham. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, after WandaVision, I went ahead and pre-ordered her.
That's right. I forgot about that one.
And I'm contemplating on Vision, and we'll see. That one's far out. So, and that's the cool thing about pre-ordering, Graham, is and we'll get more into that too.
Right.
The way that Hot Toys does all of that, so which kind of gets people in trouble.
I know, it's and this is kind of why we have this video, because you want to stay out of trouble.
Yeah. What makes them so valuable? Why the higher price point than, let's say, some other 1/6 figures? Why are people wanting these over anything else, and price point and all that?
I think the first thing that we all have to remember too is there's more 1/6 scale figures than just Hot Toys. There's 3-0, there's So-So Toys, there's Fire Toys, there's Daft Toys. There's all these brands, and just Hot Toys is kind of at the top of the pyramid there. They're kind of king of that market. So you can find other figures that are going to be better priced, but they're going to be lacking maybe some of the articulation, maybe some of the detail. But something that we all have to remember is these figures are made in a very limited number, barring any reissues or anything like that, which we've seen a lot probably due to COVID. They haven't really been releasing as much new things, and they've been coming out with a lot more reissues. But once they sell out, they're gone. They're gone forever. So then you have to kind of just try and get it on the secondary market, and then prices tend to go up. Pre-ordering is really the only guarantee you have to get these figures, because you've been collecting arcade 1-ups, and you've kind of discussed how hard it is to even pre-order. At least with 1/6 scale figures, you have that option where you're going to be able to pre-order it, and you just have to make that decision at that moment if it's something you want to pre-order. Whereas NECA and sometimes arcade 1-up, it's gone before you can even pre-order.
Right.
So that's the nice thing. But I guess all the craftsmanship and the detail in the figure make it more valuable as well. Hot Toys figures, they make them to be as real as possible. They want you to have the exact copy of that superhero or whatever, the movie star, in 1/6 scale. They want it to be as close to real as possible, and I think that's what also just makes them so valuable, is the hard work and craftsmanship and sculpting that goes into it.
So you said they're at the top of the pyramid, which means they're more, I guess, valuable than, So-So and all those other brands that you mentioned, 3-0 and all that?
Yeah, even their paint applications are just top notch. When you compare a head sculpt of 3-0 to Hot Toys, you can just see the difference in the realism and the paint applications and the little details that go into it. And a lot of the other brands have come a long way, but Hot Toys still remains the best out there.
Okay. Where should a collector start? Now that has a lot of different meanings.
Right.
So do they start with their favorite character? Do they go ahead and get something? And if that's the case, what if there isn't a new Batman coming out?
Right.
Do they go on the secondary market and spend the money and see if they like it? Or do they say, hey, I'm going to go on Sideshow, see if I like, or maybe 3-0, and see if I like those figures first, start from there? Do they just say, screw it, WandaVision's big right now, let me pre-order this figure and wait a year? What do you think you should do? Do you think another thing too, which I've seen on the Facebook groups, are, don't get something that you can have now. Buy something that you'll get within the week or two that would be sent out right away. Don't sit on something that you've never had before, kind of thing. So what do you think?
With anything you're collecting, you really have to collect what you love, and don't buy any figures that you're just going to like. Buy what you love and what means something to you and what has that nostalgic feeling to you. Lots of people say, collect a certain line, stick with that line, and that way you're not going to branch out. Like, collect Marvel and then don't worry about DC or Star Wars. But and I'd like to get your opinion on this too. I'm more of like, just be super selective and collect what you love the most. So for me, I love Batman. I love Star Wars, like Darth Vader. I love, some of the Marvel figures, but I'm not going to collect all the Marvel figures, because if I'm collecting just Marvel and I buy Ant-Man, but I really love Batman, am I really going to be happy that I have the whole Marvel line, but I don't have my Batman? Right. So I think that's something to think about, and I'd like to kind of get your opinion.
There you compare Ant-Man and Batman.
Right, I know, right? But that's the thing. They're like, stick to a line, which I do understand, but in my opinion, just be super selective and collect what you really love.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of all over the place.
Yeah, me too.
So one part of the year I'll be really into Batman. The next part of the year I'm into TMNT, which I know they don't have, but next thing I know, I'm into Marvel because the new Marvel movie came out, and they've been announcing certain things. So then I'm like, oh, there's another Wanda. Okay. Oh, there's a Black Widow. So should I, So I like that nerd culture. I like the movies. So oh, okay. Let's see. I pick two figures. Well, I want RoboCop and Batman because that's what I grew up with. And then from there, be like, okay, well, I do have a Batman, so I might as well get a Superman. Oh, now I've got two DCs. I also like Marvel, so let's get some of that Marvel line. What? They have Star Wars? Yeah. And then I just say whatever you want then and now. whatever you're really loving at that moment. Don't just stick to one line for the whole year or two just because you're like, I need to finish this collection first before I can get my Batman or my RoboCop or John Wick. Okay, I gotta wait on John Wick. Next thing you know, John Wick's $500, $600. So I guess at first, get the number one thing you want, which is why my favorite thing ever pretty much is Spider-Man. So that was my first character. I also got Into the Spider-Verse because I thought it was a great movie. I think the Into the Spider-Verse characters would look good under the LED lights with the arcade. And I got Wanda because I thought the show was great.
My first hot toy that got me to dabble in it was Batman, because he's my favorite superhero. So again, that's how it starts. I think Terminator and Darth Vader were soon to follow, and then Predator, because I just love those movies and those villains and heroes. So and some people get a little too worried about what's my collection going to look like. What if it doesn't match? It's all got to be unified and the same. And I say, don't worry about that. Just, again, if it makes you happy, just collect it.
Right.
So I guess the next thing that we quickly want to go over too is just how to purchase the figures or where to purchase. We kind of briefly talked about pre-orders, but we didn't really talk about where to buy them. So Sideshow.com is the USA's distributor for Hot Toys, so you can get all of their stuff there. Basically, you can get figures that you can buy and they'll ship it out, but then there's pre-orders there where this is a long game where you do have to kind of practice patience, because when they announce a figure, you can pre-order it pretty much the next day, but it's probably going to be a year out before that figure is going to be shipped to you. With COVID and with all the blockages at the ports, with the ships not being able to get there, there's even more delays right now. Where I was looking today too in the Mandalorian, the Beskar version, which I've gotten 2-3 months ago already from Sideshow, still hasn't shipped to their customers. Like, they still don't have it. We're seeing everything's delayed right now. Thor's been delayed. Captain America's been delayed. Rob's Spider-Man.
So I should cancel my Spider-Man and just get in on eBay.
I mean, and we'll talk about that really quick too. But you can pre-order and guarantee your copy of that figure. You just put $20-$25 down, which is non-refundable. Right. But again, if you change your mind and you cancel, you're only losing $20-$25, which in this game is small money. But it's better to pre-order the figure, even if you're on the fence about getting it, because again, that will guarantee your shot at getting this figure. At some point, Rob, you will get that Spider-Man. So, at least
I'm 45.
Right. So, I guess the thing is too, if you're on the fence and you don't pre-order it and then you miss out on it and it sells out really quick, now you got to go on the secondary market on eBay or whatever. And, sometimes these figures, Yondu, I missed out on Yondu. He's going for $800 to $900 right now. Which is 4 times the retail value. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So and try to pre-order as soon as you can, as soon as that figure comes out, because the sooner you pre-order, the more likely you're going to be to get that first batch from Sideshow.
Yeah.
So you can order from overseas companies as well, like Toys Wonderland, Pop Collectibles, and you will pay a higher dollar amount to get that first batch, to get it sooner, because typically Sideshow gets their shipment from Hot Toys anywhere from 3 to 4 months after Hot Toys releases in Hong Kong. So actually the US typically gets theirs later than everybody else. So that kind of sucks, but you can forego that and buy it directly from Hong Kong, but you're going to be paying higher prices and higher shipping. So it's kind of like, do I wait and get a better deal, or do I want it now and I pay up and get the figure a lot sooner? So those are things you got to kind of consider. eBay, you can buy from eBay. I would just recommend that, you buy from somebody that has, detailed photos, a detailed description, has good seller feedback. You got to be careful, because sometimes they'll try to pull the wool over your eyes, so, just make sure you're researching and being smart about that. But I buy a lot from eBay. If you have to go backwards, it's a good place to go. If you sometimes find deals on there as well. But And overall too, just be careful about going backwards. Like you said, there's that Batman figure that I really want, but he's not available right now. If it's what you really want, go for it. But know that you're going to be probably paying a lot more than retail, because Hot Toys very rarely go down in price. So these are actually good investments too, where they're going to go up in price. And if need be, if your interests change, like Rob said, now I'm into this, but maybe down the road I'm into that, then you can easily sell it, and get your money back and get something else, which is cool. So that was a lot of info right there. What do you think about that?
No, for sure. I mean, I like what you said. I mean, I like I said before, I think it's great that they allow you to be able to pre-order these items, and I do wish it was a little faster, but I get it, especially in today's day with COVID and everything. But hopefully they'll be able to work all that out, and we'll get it a little faster. Now, these are more take them out of the box and display them. So when you do that, do you hang on to your boxes?
Yes, absolutely. Hang on to everything. The nice thing about Hot Toys is, for the most part, there are some collectors that keep them in the box and display the boxes. I don't understand that. Hey, but to each their own. I think you got to get these things out, pose them, play with them, get them on display. But yeah, just make sure you keep everything with it, because that's really going to help the resale value if you ever do change your mind. A lot of collectors want complete sets. You obviously can still sell it if it's out of box, but you'll take a hit. Even the shipper that it comes in, the cardboard box shipper, collectors are going nuts about those things these days. It's a cardboard box, but if you don't have that shipper, I'm not paying you top dollar for that thing, which is weird. It's a cardboard box.
Yeah.
Plus, you can keep all the accessories in the box and have it all organized and whatnot. So, just a good way to keep everything from getting lost.
So, what are different ways people are displaying? Whether it's like you have in your DTOFs with the lighting, or kind of how Jetta Patrol does with, sometimes he'll just make almost like a scene in some of his display cases. So.
Yeah, I think you're already spending, enough money on the figure that you kind of got to go all in and make sure that you're displaying them in the right way too, or giving them the proper display, because you've spent so much money. So DTOFs are the most common because they look nice, but they're also really cheap. You get a DTOF cabinet for $60 at IKEA, and typically you can hold anywhere from 4 to 12 in one case, depends on how cramped you want to get them. But yeah, there's different glass cabinets. Some guys just put them on a shelf and leave them out in the open and display them that way. There are some bigger display cabinets, but they're going to be quite expensive. So I think DTOFs are the way to go. Some people hate them, and I think it's just because they're so common that people just like get sick of them. But they really are the best, and you can modify them. Add lighting and a bunch of things too to make them look really cool.
So what if you are new to it and you're only planning on getting one for now and seeing if you like it?
Right.
Would you recommend putting that in a case, like a DTOF, like one small?
Right.
Or would it be okay just to sit on a desk and get a little dusty and all that? Or what would you recommend? Or what do people recommend, I guess?
When I first got my first handful, they weren't in a case. They were just on a shelf, and I just displayed them. And, every once in a while I'd dust them, and there's ways that you can go about that. And then I kind of worked my way up to this. So you don't have to go all in right away. It's just, I think the main thing is to keep it in the proper conditions, to keep it in good condition. And that would be, low humidity, cool area, and then out of direct sunlight, because sunlight will kill these figures. They'll fade the paint, they'll ruin the pleather. So just really make sure you're keeping out of direct sunlight. But different ways, if let's just say you didn't have a cabinet, you could use those makeup brushes with the really soft bristles.
Yeah,
just dust it that way, kind of like Ace Ventura too. He's dusting. Canned air is another one.
I guess my worry is, and a lot of people out there's worry is the creases. So when you want to have a nice little action pose or something, and everyone's like, oh, you can't have them in that pose for too long, or it's going to have creases, and I guess my fear or my question is, okay, is it worth it?
Right.
Is is it worth getting the figures with the price, with having to get the detofs, having to keep them in good shape, and being scared to death to pose them?
Don't be scared.
Is it worth all the trouble with waiting for your figures and the pre-orders being a year in advance? What would you say to me or those who would ask you?
Well, for those that are scared to pose some of those materials that will show creases or damage, I totally share that fear with you. I do like some somewhat dynamic poses, but I'm not afraid to also keep it more in a museum pose for some of those figures that are like that. I actually decided not to get the Spider-Man upgraded suit and just settled on the homemade suit because I knew I could just pose him however I wanted because it's all fabric and not that that type of elasticy material. They do say that it'll heal itself if they're in the pose for short term, but if you leave it in there, you'll definitely see the wrinkles and the creases. Some people don't care. They're just like, I got this figure, I'm going to pose them how I want. Others are like museum pose the whole way. And if anybody doesn't know what museum pose is, it's pretty much straight up and down, just standing there. Yep. So you got to decide on what's more important to you. Hot Toys didn't make this figure to get into these drastic poses. Yes, they wanted it to
look like it's still in the box.
But they want it to look as real as possible. So that's why they're using this type of material. Yeah. They're going for the real factor. So in the end, it's up to each individual collector if it's worth it to you. In my opinion, yes, it's definitely worth it, but you have to be careful to not let it spiral out of control. You need to be responsible. You need to be able to pay your bills first. It's a good way if you want to get one or two here and there. Use the payment plans or find something at a good price on eBay. I really enjoy collecting these figures as they're super detailed. And they bring so much nostalgic feeling to me and my collection. They're fun. They're a fun way to take a break from the real world and what's going on out there and just focus on like your superheroes that from your childhood and whatnot. They can also be great investments, although you won't really enjoy them as much if you're collecting them just to have them go up in value. It's nice that they actually do go up in value. So like,
it's nice to have that in the back of your head.
Right.
To be able to say, well, if in 10 to 20 years I'm not into this anymore,
right,
it could still be worth something. So,
yeah, and like I said, very rarely have I seen prices go down. So, I mean, that's a nice thing, too, is, I'll buy a figure, and if my interests change or I just don't have the money, I'll sell one, and then I'll get another figure or, whatnot, something like that. But in my opinion, yeah, they're really cool. They're definitely worth it, but it's a slippery slope once you dabble in. I've never met one person that could just get one. Somebody actually commented on our YouTube channel today and said that they were waiting for the Captain America from Endgame, and it was his only one he was going to get. He's just waiting for that one. I'm like, well, so I've yet to meet anybody that's only gotten one. So I said, keep in touch because I'd like to hear how that goes for you. It's up to each individual person if this is worth it to them. But I do think once you get that figure in hand and it just blows you away, that it'll be worth it for you too out there.
To say, I'm waiting for my figure, Graham. I don't know when I'm going to get it. I'm hoping. I am hoping by June, July at the latest. I feel like that's forever away, but realistically, I hope that's I really want to cancel. eBay thing, but if I do that, I don't have the warranty. I don't have all that stuff and I hear Sideshow is really good at
taking returns.
Yep, and working with their customers and responding and stuff like that. So
yeah, hopefully you guys like this video and hopefully it helped you decide to get into the Hot Toys collecting community. It's a great community. You meet a lot of cool people and yeah, it's just a great way to kind of get away from some of these stresses in life. I mean, I started collecting during COVID, so...
Yep, do something you enjoy.
Right.
Collect what you enjoy and just...
Enjoy what you collect.
Enjoy what you collect. Have fun with it. Take it out of the box. Do whatever the hell you want. Dang it.
The end.
The end. Don't let your wife tell you no. Don't let your husband tell you no. You just do it. and deal with the consequences, but know it's worth it.
Take care of your family first, and then get yourself a hot toy.
Yeah. Make sure you can fall back. Well, I still take care of my family.
Right. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and be a part of the watch. And ring that bell so you know when we're coming out with new content. Appreciate each and every one of you. The road to 1,000, Rob, continues.
We are almost there, guys.
We are on our way.
We're almost there.
We got a lot of cool new videos coming out. Rob still has to review that Rampage arcade one.
Yeah, it's older. It's an older arcade
flashback review,
but it should be fun. I think it's good to go back to these arcade one-ups to see if it's worth actually spending the money on that and saying, hey, it's been a few, and is it worth getting?
All right, guys, we're heading out. Stay tuned because we'll have videos coming out soon. So until next time, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.